Today, I'm going to go over the number one thing you should never do when you're wearing ski boots. Now, this is contrary to a lot of opinions and a lot of things that you may have heard. However, it is essential that you do not do this. A lot of people will put on two pairs of socks when they're going skiing, especially if you're a first time skier, or maybe you've been skiing once or twice and your feet were cold. You should never wear two pairs of socks. And there's a couple reasons for that. The number one is that it is going to change how your foot fits in the volume of the boot. If you have two pairs of socks, you potentially are messing up the fit of the boot inside there. Number two is that can actually constrict the blood flow to your feet having two pairs of socks on, and it actually makes your feet colder, as well as many times if you don't have the right socks, what's going to happen is your feet are going to sweat right when you get into the boots, and then that sweat is going to get cold, and it's going to make your feet even colder than they were originally with just one pair of socks. So I do not ever recommend wearing two pairs of socks, and I think if you were to talk to multiple ski pros or other people that ski instructors, they are going to say the same thing. Never wear two pairs of socks. If your feet get cold, I have a couple recommendations. Invest in a high quality pair of wool ski socks. So you want something that's going to be a ski sock because you want something that will go all the way up to the top of the boot and above. A lot of times there's wool socks, but they're cut only down to something like this, and they're not tall enough to go into a ski boot. You want something that's going to cover all the way up your shin and really give you a lot of coverage. And having a wool ski sock is something that is going to, one, naturally kind of wick that moisture away. And even when there's moisture in a wool ski sock, it will maintain warmth versus a synthetic sock. You're just going to be sitting in your foot sweat and it's going to get colder and colder as the day goes on. Now, another mistake that people often make if they have cold feet with their ski boots is they put the foot warmers inside there. Well, those have the potential to mess up the geometry of your skiing and how your boot, once again, and your foot fits in the boot, and it can cause blisters. But the other problem with the ski warmers or toe warmers is that they can get too hot and you can end up sweating even more, and they're only providing warmth to a specific part of your foot where that is located. So in my opinion, unless you really need it and it's a really dire situation, I would not recommend a toe warmer. What I would recommend instead is a high quality wool sock. And even better than a high quality wool sock is if you can get a wool sock that is heated. Now, there's multiple different brands that make these wool heated socks, and yes, they are an investment. However, these can keep your feet warm for multiple hours and days on the slope. So the battery will only last, depending on your usage, anywhere between 3 and 12 hours, depending on what setting you have. But you can usually change the settings on the heated socks between like a 1 and 5 or 1 and 10 or 1 and 4 and adjust it to the temperatures that you're feeling that day when you're skiing, because it's not always going to be the same. Sometimes you could go skiing and it's 30 degrees and other times you might go skiing and it's 5 degrees. You're going to need more power out of this and more heat out of this when it's 5 degrees and 30 degrees. So having the adjustability on a heated ski sock is really great. And how the heated ski socks work is you've got a little rechargeable battery pack. You recharge these things, and then once you've got them all charged up, you just plug them back into the sock like so, and you put them in this little pocket in the sock, and you're good to go skiing there. And these things are incredibly comfortable. One thing I wish I had was actually a spare set of batteries. So if I ran out of battery on the slopes, I could swap them out. I haven't had that issue really because, I don't know, most of the time 4 to 6 hours of skiing is enough and it's just time to be done. But if you're skiing all day from sun up to sundown, having an extra pair of batteries for a heated ski sock, I would say, is essential. So the number one thing you should never do when you are skiing and when you're putting your boots on is do not put on two pairs of socks, because that can actually constrict the blood flow into your feet and make your feet colder. And especially if you're using synthetic socks, it's going to be even worse. So the first thing I would recommend is get a high quality wool ski sock. And if your feet are still cold, then go for something like a high quality wool ski sock that is also heated. And if you haven't tried these out and you have problems with cold feet, get a heated ski sock. And in my opinion, if you're having issues with cold feet, something like a heated ski sock is going to potentially help you a lot to be more comfortable and enjoy the day longer. Definitely, I would try it out as probably the number one solution to stay warmer or have your feet warmer on the ski slopes. But whatever you do, don't put on 2 pairs of socks, especially synthetic socks. So I hope you enjoyed this video on the number one thing that you should never do with your ski boots and ski socks. And if you like this, please give us that thumbs up, subscribe. We've got a whole bunch of ski content coming for you this season. And if you want to support us, you can click down in the description below or look at any of the links to our courses and other resources that help support the channel. So hope you enjoy, and we'll see you next time.